let's get on with this. We're on chapter 4 of Ruth. All right. There's going to be 22 scriptures in this one here that added that extra 6. I think we had to add on that 20 over there. All right. So, and on 19. All right. So, what I wanted to chat with you about is that we, on chapter 3, we got this connection. But she says, stand fast. We got to figure out which way this is going to fall, because this is the 6th chakra. And a lot of people never make it past this part, ever. You know, in the Song of Solomon, they never hook up. It just doesn't work. But I can reveal the secret in this particular part of the story, because what happens is we are actually seeing the female part of this story. Not it's the birth of Jesus. it's the idea of the female, the goddess herself, the goddess, the whatever's going to represent womankind. You know, that it puts this inkling in the mind of man. Remember, she's not there at all. In fact, we have the works that comes in place of her. But does she get really just, I guess she gets kind of like, okay, I've had enough of this, I'm bringing you home. I'm tired of this, I'm taking you back from the war. But this is the whole thing. But this is the spiritual side. This is a woman's story. So this female energy is this, if you were to listen to the Song of Solomon, it is this woman that never does get hooked up with her man. It's just, and it just goes on and on and on. Meaning they never hook up. They never do. So that's a negative side. But for this Ruth is representing this, this friend, this female friend that helps us out. She's our helper. She would be Eve. She'd be all of these things. But at the same, in this story, I mean, we've heard the stories of mothers giving birth to like an independent person or independent character named Elizabeth, who gives birth to John the Baptist, and we get another independent character that gives the birth of Christ with Mary. Here we have an independent person named Naomi giving birth to 2 sons who died, to 2 daughters, and she takes up those daughters. The daughters become her family. Those are all her families. So you see, this is the other side of this thing, the female side of this procreation. And of course, that we're getting that Ruth is this woman the strange woman has never had anything either. She's barren, or she's just virgin, and that's how this child gets born. But it doesn't wind up in her hands. Is the interesting thing about this in this part of the story. It winds up in Naomi's hands. She's the one who requested all this business so that the woman could get some rest. That's the wife of this man, the mind. All right, that everybody actually will get rest, but it's the birth of, it would be the birth of Jesus. The side that would be the Mary would be Ruth in these stories, because they give birth to this child, and it's not until he is discovered and found that he is made into a better thing. And even he has to go through his works first. So we're getting the birth of Christ as what is birth, the seed in us, and it's being mentioned as he's down there on the shedding floor, with the threading or shredding or whatever it is. All right, I'll remember what it is. Threshing, And it's very interesting that they do this by throwing it up in the air and let the air do its job to take away the impurities. How beautiful is that? We meet Jesus in the air. They're not talking about Jesus here, but this is this. He's going to go threshing tonight. You know, that means that actually he's in there trying to separate what's the good from the bad, and that's letting the seed in us out, letting the outside be taken away in the wind. And the wind in this case is the air. Well, you're in the air, and Jesus meets us in the air, you know, and he takes us over to the Holy Ghost, to Mother. All right. So that's the storyline for the child in us. All right. And so, but let's go on, chapter 4, and see if we can't get through this together. All right. Then went Boaz up to the gate, and he sat down there, and behold, his kinsmen came from Boaz. That Boaz spake, came by. Unto whom he said, whoa, such a one, turn aside, sit down. And he turned aside and sat down. And he took 10 men of the elders of the city and said, sit ye down here. And they all sat down. And he said unto the kinsman, Naomi, this come again out of this country of Moab, selleth a parcel of land, which was our brother's, Elimelech's. And I thought to advertise thee, saying, buy it before the inhabitants, and before the elders of my people. If thou wilt redeem it, redeem it. But if thou wilt not redeem it, then tell me, and let me know. For there is none to redeem it besides thee, and I am after thee. And he said, I will redeem it. This is the first 4. This is set in the stage. I will redeem it. I will take it. I want this. The 10 men, this is the idea of the 10 men and the elders and these guys are all coming in. He said, sit down with me. They're all sitting down and thinking about what's going to happen with this. See, and the girls are all like, oh, we got to go see what's happening. You got to go get to the brethren now. Got to get all these guys together. And said Boaz, what day thou buyest the field of the hand of Naomi, that thou buyest also of Ruth of the Moabites, the wife of the dead, to raise up the name of the dead upon his inheritance. And the kinsman said, I cannot redeem it for myself, lest I mar my own inheritance. Redeem thou my own right to thyself, for I cannot redeem it. This is number 6. I cannot redeem it for myself. And number 7. And the kinsman said, I cannot redeem it for myself, lest I mar my own inheritance. Redeem it thou for thy rights. Oh, this is number 6. Oh, number 7. Damn it. Now this was the manner in former time in Israel concerning redeeming and concerning changing. For to confirm all things, a man plucked off his shoe and gave it to his neighbor. And this was a testimony in Israel. Number 8. Therefore the kinsman said unto Boaz, buy it for thee. So he drew off his shoe. It's number 8. Buy it for thee. This is the whole idea. You're actually getting this. You buy it for yourself. Buy it for yourself. And he took off his shoe. When people take off their shoe and they give it to their neighbor, this is the taking off the shoe is taking off the skin and this idea that okay, and you give it to your neighbor and let your neighbor do it. And your neighbor in this situation is your brother. It's going to be your seed, your child. All right, your brethren, your brother. All right, that's what that's saying. Therefore the kinsman said unto Boaz, buy it for thee. All right. So he drew off his shoe. It's beautiful. 9, 10, 11, and 12. This is going to be the intervention. He drew off his shoe, so he's going into meditation here. This is the 12 is a 12 is coming up. All right, this is where we are. 9, 10, 11, 12. And Boaz said to the elders and unto the people, ye are witnesses this day that I have bought what was Elmix and all that was such and such in the land of Naomi. This is number 9. And the witness, earth, let earth be a witness. This is the first witness. This is the first thing that gets destroyed too in this situation. All right. The witness. All right. Let you be a witness. Let you people be a witness. This is the earth. Number 9. Moreover, Ruth, or 10. Moreover, Ruth the Moabites, the wife of Mahan, have I purchased to be my wife, to raise up in the name of the dead upon his inheritance, that the name of the dead be not cut off from amongst his brethren, and from the gate of his place. Ye are witnesses this day. Oh my God, we get the second witness coming into this particular part of it. Number 10. You are witnesses of this day too. Because this is God's wife. This is talking about a purchased her too. So this is the gaining. He's gaining of these inheritances, and he's bringing these people that are dead back to life through this inheritance. And number 11. And all the people that were at the gate, the elders, they said, we are witnesses. The Lord make a woman that is coming to thine house like Rachel and like Leah, who two did build the house of Israel, and do thou worthy in Ephraim and famous in Bethlehem. Oh my God, you guys, did you hear that? I didn't know that. I never read that before. 11. And the people that were at the gate and the elders said, we are all witnesses. We are witnesses. The Lord make thee woman that is come into thine house, like Rachel, like Leah, which two did build the house of Israel. They're the other side. They're the female side of God, of Elohim. Yes, they were. She is just like them. And number 12. And let thy house be like the house of Phares, whom Tamar bare unto Judah, of the seed of which the Lord shall give thee of this young woman. The seed of the young woman. Let's see what happens with that. So Boaz took Ruth. This is the fourth world. They're on his way. He's changing. He's picked up his wife. He's picked up his wife here. And the brethren are all happy. The body, everybody's happy. Now we're down here with number 13, 14, 15, and 16. And what we get is, so Boaz took Ruth, and she was his wife, and he went into her. And the Lord gave her conception, and she bare a son. And the woman said unto Naomi, blessed be the Lord, which hath not left thee this day without a kinsman, that his name may be famous in Israel. This is number 6. And this one here. This is number 5, that his name be 14 represents a 5. 15. And he said, be unto thee a restorer of life. that he shall be a restorer of life, a nourisher of thine old age, for thy daughter-in-law, which loveth thee, which is better to thee than 7 sons, hath borne him. And number 16. And Naomi took the child and laid it in her bosom and became nurse unto it. This is the 7th. So Naomi winds up, at the end of this package here, Naomi winds up with the child. Naomi winds up nursing this child that is born by this Boaz and by her damsel. The damsel of the story is her daughter, who went down and found this guy while he was in meditation and brought him back to life. Oh, it's just interesting how this is working out. Let's just wait a minute. 16. Now we've got the body parts here. All right. 17, 18, 19, and 20. 17. And the women, her neighbors, gave it a name, saying that there is a son born to Naomi. And they called his name Obed. He is the father of Jesse, the father of David. Okay? So there'll be a son born to Naomi, and they called his name Obed, and his father Jesse, and the father of David. So this is all pre-father. I mean, this is the OBED means father, means servant. It means workman. So you're seeing the birth of Jesus. You're seeing the servant, the birth of the servant. This is the other side. This is what's happening in our minds, where once we this is the side. This is how we get our child loosened and brought to life in us. The meditation, the business, the food, the feeding. We still have 2 more on here. We have number 21, number 22 to read. And Solomon begat Boaz. Oh, here, no, we still have 17, 18, 19, 20. All right, so the neighbors named him, all right? Named this thing, he's going to be a servant. So this is the birth of our seed, all right? God's seed in us, all right? So we have number 18 on here. 18. Now these are the generations of Pharez. Pharez begat Hezron. So whatever that is this is going to, I don't know the names. I don't know what those names are, but we can tell you that this has to do with the inside of us, all right? And number 19 would wind up, and Hezron began Ram, and Ram began Abidim. Well, we know Ram is about our minds, and I'm sure that there's talking, when you have 2 things going on, it's still that duo of the first thing is probably going to be the mind, and the second thing is going to probably be the spirit, or the land and the water, you know. And number 20, over here we get, and Abinadab begat Nahshon, and Nahshon begat Salmon. All right. And Salmon begets Boaz, and Boaz begets Obed. And I see how this is working. These are the generations. This is starting up from the very beginning. Because it winds up being that Obed begets Jesse, and Jesse begets David. Well, in the long run, this is David, the Star of David. This is where the city, this is where it's going to wind up being. It's going to wind up giving birth to Jesus too. So they'll be able to, we'll be able to squish together all these people in one place, just like they did with, you're going to be like Leah. You're going to be like this. These are in stories, these women that are married to the men in these stories. There's the wife, and then there is a sister or there's a wife and she's barren, and then there is a maid. All right. And the way they separate this in symbolism in our Bible is that one is a free woman, and one is a bond maid or a servant of some kind. So one is free and one is a bond. And the mother of us all is the free. She's Jerusalem, which is above, that is free. This is the female. This is the male side that's trying to come alive. And here we're getting the story of Ruth. And Ruth is this female side story. And this is the workings of her and her daughters to try to bring about some life to all these other people. So you'll see that just hook up to Naomi. It's all about Naomi and her husband. All right. The very beginning of it all. And we know that as Elmic, when he dies. But it just leaves her all alone. So, and it's just so cool how the story works out, and how it's the female side of things versus the male sides of things that we hear all the time. And you'll also see that this child that is born comes out of the mind of man. And so this is this idea that her husband, her boy, this guy who is full of her boy, her man, or Boaz, is connected to God. He's full of the Spirit, and this is all happening inside of us, and it happens really fast. And in the book, it seems like it takes forever. Of course, it seems to when you finally make it over. But when you do finally connect to the Spirit, it's called lightning. It's a type of lightning that travels from the east to the west. And that's like pretty fast. All right. So anyways, I hope you got something out of this. This was a lot of fun. It was interesting to take a scripture that I've never known about before, and now I feel like we know all about it. All about it. It's the coolest thing on earth. Chat with you soon. Best to you.